Hello crafty friends, Dawn here. Today I'm back with another Halloween card for you. I thought I would make another spooky Halloween background using my Distress Oxide inks again. This time I chose to use different colors for the background. Last time I made like a bluish background, and today I'm going to make more of a reddish yellow background. I'm using the Whimsy Stamps Mini Slimline Treehouse as my main focal point on the card, and I'm going to make a slimline card today. And of course, I'm going to pair it up with my all-time favorite Boo die set. I can make endless amounts of cards with these cute little ghosts. I mean, I just absolutely love them. And then I'm going to be using the clouds from the Mini Slimline Cloud Die. So let's get started making the card. The first thing I did was die cut the mini slimline tree from some black cardstock, and I did end up die cutting 2 of them, so you may want to do that. And then I just cut out all of the white ghosts because I don't know how many I want to use on my card yet, so I just cut them all out. And then I die cut 3 of the clouds from some white cardstock. Now I'm going to ink blend my background. The colors I'm using today are the Distress Oxide Inks Fired Brick, Spiced Marmalade, and Fossilized Amber. And I start out by putting some fired brick all around the edge of my white cardstock that I cut to 3.5 by 8.5 inches. And I'm rubbing some of the ink off on my scrap piece of paper so not to get a lot of harsh dark spots. However, if it does happen, which it does, I will show you how I fix it. Now I bring in the spiced marmalade, and I'm basically making a circular, kind of like a circle around the card so that the very center will end up being like the lightest spot on the card. And that's where I'm going to put the fossilized amber, and then I'm basically going to just blend it all together. You may want to go a little bit dark on the colors because it will lighten up a bit as it dries, so it depends how dramatic you want the colors to be. Now I'm going to bring in my black soot. I love adding this black soot to my ink blending. I feel like this is where you can make backgrounds look dreary and spooky or make things look distressed. You can put as much or as little as you want. Keep in mind it does lighten up a little bit as well. Okay, here is where I put a little bit too much of the black soot in one spot, but it's easily fixed. You can just put some fossilized amber or spiced marmalade over it and then just blend it out. That's what I love about these Distress Oxide inks. They're so forgiving when you make a mistake. As you can see, the big splot just disappears. Now you can blend it out as much or as little as you want by adding more of the other colors, but I was fine with how much I blended this out. Here I'm going to make my clouds look dark and gloomy as well. I'm putting some Distress Oxide Hickory Smoke all around the edges of the clouds. I don't really put the hickory smoke in the middle of the clouds. I kind of want to keep them white. Basically just focusing on the edges all around the clouds. And then once I do that, I'm going to bring in my black soot again. This time, I'm not really going to put any on the bottoms of the clouds. I'm just mainly going to focus on the tops of the clouds to kind of make them look a little darker, kind of like a shadowing looking down on the clouds. Moving on, I'm going to heat emboss my sentiment. So I rub my black paper with my embossing powder bag. I'm using the Hocus Pocus Kittens stamp set because I like the Happy Halloween in the set, but you can also use the Boo die if you wanted to and put the word Boo across the treehouse. I stamped the sentiment with Versamark ink, and then I'm going to pour gold embossing powder on it. And when my heat tool is good and hot, I heat emboss the sentiment. I'm going to start to assemble the card. I adhere the 2 black trees together to give a little bit of dimension to my tree house. And then I'm going to adhere it to the front of the background that I ink blended. Now, I don't press the house down all the way because I need to put my ghosts behind some parts of the house. So I quickly add a little bit of glue to the ghosts, and then I just lift up the parts of the house where I want the ghosts to go. If the glue dries a little, no worries. Just lift up the piece of the house very carefully and then add the ghosts behind it, and then you can use a little bit more liquid glue to adhere the house back down. I put foam tape on the backs of the clouds to give them some dimension, and I put them where I want them to go on the card. I put foam tape on the back of the sentiment, and I adhere that across the tree house. Here I decided I wanted to put some bats in my sky. I was going to use the bats from the Hocus Pocus stamp set, but then I started to panic and I thought, what if I don't want the bats or I stamped them in the wrong spot? I mean, I'm pretty much finished with the card at this point, so I don't want to mess up. So I took the bats from the Haunted Graveyard die set that I had, and I decided to put them on the card and see how they look. And I really liked how they look, so the bats were a go. I'm just using the ones that I die cut out since I already have them, but you can just go ahead and stamp them with the Hocus Pocus stamp set. Once I adhere the bats onto the card front, I take the entire card front and adhere that to a slimline card base. I cut to 8.5 by 7 and I scored it at 3.5. And that's going to complete my card for today. This card was so quick to make, even with making changes to it and changing other products. It only took me not even 40 minutes from start to finish. And now that I made it once, I can easily mass produce these if I really wanted to. I want to thank you for joining me on the Whimsy Stamps YouTube channel. I would love for you to leave a comment below and let me know what you think of my Halloween card. Be sure to subscribe to the Whimsy Stamps YouTube channel and their other social media platforms so you don't miss out on any upcoming releases and great inspirational videos. Also, check out their website for all their new releases. And as always, thank you for stopping by and spending your time with me. Have yourself a wonderful day.